नमस्कार सभी को। आज हम लोग डिस्कस करने वाले हैं एमएसएमई के बारे में, विच इज़ अ माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्राइज, which I will begin the session that how this corona effect has actually vulnerably affected MSME sectors. To begin with this session, I would like to tell you what is an MSME. We all know micro, small, medium enterprise is not a business organization. It's basically a system of enterprises that work. Now, micro stands for those enterprises who have an investment size in their plant and machinery, let me tell you, excluding the land, that goes to 25 lakh rupees. Then small enterprise means those enterprises which has an investment size of 25 lakhs to 5 crores. And medium enterprises are those enterprises which are 5 crores and above of the investment in their plant and machinery. Now, this entire system of enterprise is for the business operations. Now, post COVID, we are facing this problem of social distancing. Now, we are actually believing the fact that we are happy being social distanced with each other. And that is how this entire sector is getting affected, because it's a small livelihood sectors where the people come together, which is in the form of self-help group as well, where the ladies or group, they create groups in their village areas and they produce. Now, to get familiar कि हम इनिशियल स्टेज पे हम कैसे एमएसएमई से जुड़े हुए हैं, पहले हम उसे जानते हैं. जैसे सबसे important aspect of MSME is agarbatti. Every day we do religiously the pujas and we use the agarbattis. The agarbattis that we are buying is either from ITC manufactured, or it is some cycle agarbatti, or there are different various brands. But these brands are not producing agarbattis. They are actually infiltrating the scents, for which they are actually collecting the agarbattis from small scale areas, from village areas, where the small slum areas are contributing, where if you visit a slum area near to it, you will find a lot of people making agarbattis rolling on in the stick, in the bamboo. The suppliers, the brokers are providing them the bamboo sticks, the sticks that they use, and the material, the black material that you using for agarbattis. And this entire agarbattis are getting rolled out in a piece of paper, let me tell you. And that is taken over by the middleman, that is the broker or the agent, you could say. And that broker is collecting it from entire area through which he is actually getting it. And then he is making that agarbatti available to ITC. So that means ITC is not producing agarbattis, they are actually using their patented scents over those produced agarbattis, which are daily course of business that we are actually using. Now, this is one of the MSME sector that I'm actually talking about. The second sector which we can relatively relate to in this post-COVID area also, when we know key entire hospitals are running out and there are warriors right now. The medicines are saving people, but we're forgetting that the injection molds, the injection that is put down on the patient, the molds are actually created in small sector enterprises, the plastic molds. Those injection plastic molds are also what is essential to inject an injection to a patient. Secondly, the medicines that we are using. Medicines, the bottle caps, the plastic. I'm not talking about the glass bottle, but I'm talking about the cap, a small thing, but the most important thing. The plastic cap over a bottle or a steel cap over the bottle. That is also what is produced in the micro, small enterprises, which are very essential to run the bigger organization. So if GlaxoSmithKline is producing medicines and giving us medicines, the bottles are manufactured in small sectors. Third sector that I would like to touch is the power generation. Now, coal is what we believe NTPC and everybody is mining out. But to mine out that coal, there is a Ozar that you could call it. That Ozar is what is a steel iron rot that is essential to mine the coal is what is produced in a micro, small, medium enterprise. So the entire business in India is what is actually connected to it. Now, why am I talking about these three sectors? Because we can really relate. We can very nicely relate to these sectors because day to day we are knowing about it, but we don't know how this entire thing is working. So that is what you call it as a supply chain management. That we are getting every product and it is supplied through a particular chain, which is now a hurdle after post-COVID, where there is a disruption in the supply chain management of the organizations. Now, second thing that I want to tell you is that MSME, it's not just one, but it's a only sector after agriculture, which gives you 111 million jobs. So after agriculture sector, highest job producing sector is MSME, which even a group of 4 people, 3 people, there are a lot of groups that are coming, and that is where there's a threat of employment. So we are actually facing a threat of employment if we are not in a position to revamp the micro, small, medium enterprise of India, which is gonna be a very crucial thing after post-COVID, because losing this much job, India cannot afford. We cannot afford this much kind of unemployment. Now, the relativity of fact that I tell you that MSME is the only sector, isolatedly only sector, which actually contributes 48% of export from India, 30% of production in India. So entire GDP, they are contributing to GDP is 30% in internal manufacturing and production and 48% in export, which clearly makes that there's a lot of people who are actually working in this sector. And if this sector is not revamped, there'll be a lot of problems for the job that we are facing. Now, second thing that I would tell you is that this entire thing of post-COVID has become a black swan. Black swan, I'm saying, because now we don't know how to survive with this MSME. Now, the biggest challenge that this MSME sector in India have 3 basic challenges that I would like to tell you. I completely agree that we all cannot contribute on these 3 challenges, but at the end of the thing, I'll let you know how you can contribute to revamp that MSME sector. Now, the first major challenge that MSME now has post-COVID is the supply chain management. That is how the people, how the products, how the manufacturing units, how the manufactured products will reach to the companies or organizations which will actually deliver it to the market. Second thing is finance. Now, a lot of people who are finance experts, I'm sure they can relate to it, that the reality in India shows that MSME is the only sector which actually works in cash but does business in credit, which means there anyways gonna be a loss of working capital for them. Since they're working more in credit and less in cash, they will have to find out a capitalization structure for themselves, which is another thing that has to be discussed. And the third and the most important, I would say, which you, all the listeners and those who are listening right now, or those who will be listening it later, I'm sure you all can contribute into that, is the morale motivation of the MSME entrepreneurs. The whole idea which I believe and I'm joining Think India is so that all the common people, all my students, the students of different fraternities, disciplines like law, management, finance, then fashion technology, because textile is another aspect of it. All these students can actually participate and they can contribute in the morale upliftment of the MSME sectors, which I'll tell you later part, how you all can contribute to it. And now finance part, I'll tell you. The supply chain, we know how supply chain is affected because of social distancing and the lockdown, which will try to revamp it, which is possible only when the lockdown is lifted. And that is how we'll read to it. But second part, which we can now do it, even in the time of lockdown, is the finance part. Now, many of you must be reading the newspapers that RBI is giving 5,000 crores of funding to MSMEs. They want to revamp the MSMEs. But the idea is that 90 days moratorium will be there, that 90 days they have to start beginning. And that is very unforeseen actually, which I believe that this entire finance thing that has to be there, the the financial managers of the companies and the organizations have to come forward, and they have to make a crunching plan that how for coming 1 year they will survive in this financial situation, where they have to pay the bills, where they have to pay the salaries to their employees, where the entire business is getting affected. Now, the reality is also that a lot of organizations who are working in MSME, they're actually confused between the reserve capital and the working capital. It's very difficult for them to identify what is a working capital for them and how a reserve capital can be used for this situation, which is another irony in India we have. Secondly, what SIDBI is actually giving is a lot of facilities to MSME, which why these experts of finance can definitely help you out with. But I would like to say that whatever finance you are putting or you're giving, or the government is anyways trying to revamp, because that is going to be very widely affected sector. What is essential is that these informations must reach to those enterprises. Now, I would call these enterprises as entrepreneurs. When I heard a lot of speech of Union Minister and the Secretary, I was going across, they were talking about that MSME, we want the MSME to be Apple. We want the MSMEs to be, Infosys. We want this organizations to be the big giant organization. That's good. We all have to dream about it. That's our dream. But the point is that instead of making the organization as an Apple or Infosys, why don't we plan to make them Steve Jobs? Why don't we plan to make those entrepreneurs Narayan Murthy and the 6 people who started Infosys? Why don't we plan to make them Dhirubhai Ambani rather than making them Reliance? The entire focus should be actually on the entrepreneurs, that how we can contribute to those entrepreneurs, how we can help them to understand what is their job and how they can survive in this crucial situation. Then third aspect of it is moral upliftment, that I would say. Now, this session, I would say that the whole idea why, again, I would say that I am here is to let you know, or to give you indirectly a project or assignment that let's all come together and save MSMEs. Now, how can we contribute in that? I would pick up the areas and I'll let you know how you can actually contribute to MSMEs. The first aspect that I would like to tell you is the finance part. Now, I request all the students who are involved in finance studies, they should come together. They should identify the near MSMEs to their area where you are actually in this lockdown period. You should identify the MSMEs that are working around you, your native places and all that. Make it as your civil duty. Trace them, find them, talk to them, ask them what are your problems, how can I help you with that problem? Can I make you a financial plan? Can I help you to understand how you can mitigate? That would help you as well to understand how you can work in the financial aspects. These small things will definitely give them motivation. When a student of MBA will call them and say that I'm going to want to do this for you, I want to do this for my future, I want to do this for my country's future, that if you want any help from me, just let me know. Every student, every person should take it as a task that this will identify and will help them. In this, I also urge the civil society organizations to come forward, because right now, civil society organizations can also help MSMEs with their expert professional teaching, training, or helping them with their problems. But what are their problems has to be understood. Not what is generally demanded in the theories, but practically what problems they're actually facing. How can they fix the salaries? How can they plan to rent out? How can they pay off their bills? What are the other ways to do it? And that is how a finance student and a civil society organization can help them to understand. Similarly, I would like to request the law students as to make them understand how these things can actually be done legally. They should not feel that we are violating any laws or they're doing something very extraordinary. But then you have to make them understand, see what is permitted in law, you're doing that. And you have to come forward and do that for your saving. Now, secondly, that I believe, apart from finance and apart from your intellectual skills, what is another essential aspect is management, which I usually teach my students also, that why a management is important for an entrepreneur. Now we know Apple, you know Apple, everybody knows Apple. We people know Apple through Steve Jobs. They believe Steve Jobs is the one who started off the Apple. That's true, very true. But Steve Jobs was not the only person who did it. Steve Jobs, at a very stage of putting up his technical knowledge, he understood that I cannot take over the management. That is where the John Scully came in. At the very stage where Steve Jobs realized that all he can put down is the technical help, he understood that management is not his cup of tea for this organization. And that is where he introduced John Scully to Apple. That is what is the beginning of an organization look like. So what I here advocate to all my students, civil society organizations, to take it up a task to let the MSME know that they can still survive in this environment. They can still stand. They can still get up and work, start doing businesses with a better management principles. Now, what I'm advocating here is a layer of management. Now, when you hear recently when I was reading hearing actually Union Minister's speech in Rajya Sabha, the very initial 1 to 2nd, 3rd of minute, he started off saying that we have to corporatize the MSMEs. Now, what is this entire corporatization that you want to say? Now, corporatization initially means decentralization. That is, you want to separate the government and you want to put down, government wants to retain the ownership, but they want to take over the management. They do not want to continue with the management, but they want to hold the ownership in the organization. That's good. That's a good effort that they are actually planning. But this corporatization is not only about enterprises or MSME that belongs to government, but is actually also is essential for all the sole proprietors. It is also essential for cooperative societies which are working. It is also essential for societies that are working as multi-state society cooperative agencies. It is also essential for companies. It is also essential for limited liability partnerships that are actually existing. Now, this layer of management, which I mean to understand and make you understand, is that they should know that what is their limit. They should understand that, see, as a founder member or the one who's doing it, I am the one who can actually only give technical help, but I have a failure to run the management of the company. That is where he has to begin with a layer of management in his company. I'm not saying that an organization of one person cannot go for management. Of course they can. Even sole proprietor can set up a layer of management. It is not about ownership. I'm not talking about ownership. The same single person can be owner and he can establish 50 layer of managements for himself to run the entire business. And that is what is essential at this stage. Now, I have heard a lot of stories. I've been talking to a lot of entrepreneurs also. Now, entrepreneurs actually feel that sacrifice, I'll tell you. The second essential thing that I want you to make MSME entrepreneurs understand through your initiatives that everything demands sacrifice. And at this post-COVID, every entrepreneur has to do a sacrifice. A sacrifice which will make them to sustain in this business environment. Now, I would tell you what is a threat of sacrifice. Everybody wants to sacrifice. Actually, everyone be voluntarily sacrificing for their own benefit. But what is a threat to sacrifice? The very threat to sacrifice is that if you sacrifice, there should be nobody taking advantage of it. That means अगर एक एंटरप्रेन्योर अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए सैक्रिफाइस कर रहा है तो वो चाहता है कि जो सैक्रिफाइस वो कर रहा है उस सैक्रिफाइस का कोई एडवांटेज ना उठाए. इसका मतलब है कि उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक प्रोटोकॉल की जरूरत है. सो व्हाट इज सेकंड थिंग दैट आई वांट यू टू मेक and identify MSMEs to understand that you have to set up protocols. You have to set up protocols for all the people who are working in your organization and make sacrifices. So that sacrifice can bring a lot of happiness in your organization. So what is actually right now Corona has given us that now post-COVID and post-Corona, we have to make happiness contagious. So these organizations also have to make themselves happy to be contagious. And that is where they can sustain in this market. The third thing that I want to tell through this medium and platform to all entrepreneurs, that you should go for separation of ownership and management. At this stage, at this post-Corona stage, it is essential that the owners separate themselves with the management of the organizations so that you can put down more professional expertise in your organizations. अगर आप ओनर हैं तो आपसे ज़रूर इस बात की रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप अपने मैनेजमेंट को बदलिए. आप अपने आप को मैनेजमेंट से अलग कर लीजिए क्योंकि ओनर को ज़्यादा दर्द होता है. वो अपने आप को इतना एसोसिएट कर लेता है कि वो सोचता है कि नहीं मैं इसमें सस्टेन नहीं कर पाऊंगा. सो मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है हर एक एंटरप्रेन्योर से कि अपने आप को इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से मैनेजमेंट से अलग कर लीजिए. अपनी मैनेजमेंट में नए लोगों को लाइए, नए एक्सपर्ट्स को लीजिए. अभी ऐसा समय है कि कोई भी आपके लिए वॉलंटरली ये काम करना चाहेगा. मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी लोगों को कि वो वॉलंटरली इस इनिशिएटिव्स को लें और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को समझाएं कि अभी भी हम सरवाइव कर सकते हैं विद मिनिमम बेसिक थिंग्स टू curtail with. Now, the another aspect that I want, again, I'm requesting the entire civil society organizations and students and all those people who are listening to this, that make a motivational platform for the MSMEs. Motivation and morale upliftment is what is essential after post-corona. मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप हर उस आइडेंटिफाई कीजिए एमएसएमई को और उसे मॉरली बूस्ट करने की कोशिश कीजिए. अब ये आप कैसे कर सकते हैं? द पॉइंट इज हाउ कैन यू डू दैट? नाउ वी कैन डू दैट by collecting and researching the stories of the people who have sustained this crisis. अब आपको एक एमएसएमई के एंटरप्रेन्योर को धीरूभाई अंबानी की कहानी नहीं सुनानी है. वो कहानी नहीं सुनानी है जो कहानी रिलायंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से स्टार्ट होती है. आपको वो कहानी सुनानी है जब उन्होंने क्राइसिस में विदाउट अ सिंगल पेनी ही रीच्ड टू मुंबई to do the business. तो कहानी हमें एमएसएमईज के लिए कलेक्ट करनी होगी. ये एक बहुत बेसिक रिसर्च एरिया है जिसमें मैं चाहूंगी कि ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स, ऑल द रिसर्चर्स start collecting the motivational stories of MSME entrepreneurs so that they can relate to it. आप उन्हें वो कहानी सुनाइए, उनके सेक्टर से रिलेटेड उस एंटरप्रेन्योर की कहानी सुनाइए, उसके बारे में बताइए जिससे वो अपने आप को मोटिवेट कर सके. वो अपने मोरल को अपलिफ्ट कर सके कि हाँ इन्होंने सर्वाइव किया, हम भी सर्वाइव करेंगे, हम भी उस स्टेज से गुजरेंगे, हम भी इस तरीके से अपने बिजनेस को रन कर सकते हैं. नो चॉइस ऑफ लूजिंग होप. सेकेंडली, उस मोरल को भी हमें बढ़ाना होगा हर एक एंटरप्रेन्योर को. जैसे ये फील हो रहा है कि उसकी कंपनी या ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बिजनेस नहीं कर पा रही है, बट उसके ऊपर एक बर्डन हो गया सैलरी जो कि उसे अपने एम्प्लॉयज को देनी है, बिल्कुल देनी है. आप उन्हें बताना होगा कि आपको एक बिहेवियर थ्योरी के बेसिस पे काम करना होगा. आपको उन्हें समझाना होगा एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को कि यही एम्प्लॉयज को अगर आप अभी साथ देंगे तो फ्यूचर में यही आपके लिए कंट्रीब्यूट करेंगे. आई एम श्योर लॉट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट स्टूडेंट्स कैन रिलेट टू दिस थ्योरी व्हिच इज नोन एज बिहेवियर थ्योरी. द बिहेवियर थ्योरी इज व्हाट वी बिलीव दैट set a protocol, set a behavior so that the other person can read through that, can learn from that behavior. And that is where you have to motivate those entrepreneurs. Now, the other thing that I would like to tell you is what is the threat right now? Kyun this thing actually gives me a bigger loss scenario. Because if we are not able to survive or help the MSMEs in coming 8 weeks, trust me, we're going to lose near to 60% of jobs in India. 60% of people will be losing their job. Now, let me tell you, in this MSME sector, there are 40% of employees which belong to unorganized sectors. And 25% belongs to organized sectors, and they're getting salaries of their secured position. But for our future, for the generation future, we need to help the MSMEs to come over this practice. Now, the last thing that I want to discuss here is the sanitation part. Now, post-corona, sanitization is very important. How this entire hygiene has to be maintained. क्योंकि अभी हर एक एंटरप्रेन्योर ये सोच रहा है कि अगर मैं अपने एम्प्लॉयज को वापस वर्क पे बुलाता हूँ और मैं अगर फैक्ट्री ज्वाइन करता हूँ और वो सारे एक दूसरे से मिलते हैं, तो ये एक और थ्रेट है हमारे लिए, जो कि हेल्दी नहीं, जो कंटेजियस है, कहने का मतलब. तो अब हमें क्या करना चाहिए जिससे कि मैं अपना बिजनेस को भी रन कर सकूं, मैं सोसाइटी को भी सेव कर सकूं और एक स्टैंडर्ड हाइजीन मेंटेन कर सकूं. That is what I believe is the last need, is that we have to come out with a standard operating procedures for MSMEs. Now, all the civil society and again the students, I urge you that you should let them know what is the minimum, most economical standard operating procedures that they can avail and maintain the hygiene, and they can come over the threat of corona. That how they can make this situation better for them by maintaining certain social distancing, by maintaining certain hygienes, by maintaining more health facilities that is available to their employees. Now, the second thing that is actually related to it is, what about the cost efficiency? What will be the cost for that? So is a small entrepreneur ready to take that? Yes, why not? So that is what we have to understand, that we have to give them a minimum cost standard operating procedures through which they can actually maintain their status quo and start doing business operations in their organizations. Third, business responsibilities. What are a business responsibility? You have to let them know. You have to identify and trace them in MSMEs. They should know that what are their business responsibilities towards society, what are the business responsibility towards their own employees and workers who are working with them. So how their business responsibility gonna affect the entire unsecured position of those employees? That how will they deal with it? If they maintain standard operating procedures, this post-corona will be the new normal business of MSMEs. So, post-corona, I would like to tell you, post-corona is the new normal. MSME is going to be the new normal business in India. After migration, a lot of laborers, where should be the investment go? Now, what do you think the investment should go to? Where? अब जबकि सारे लेबर्स अपनी जगह पहुंच रहे हैं, तब इन्वेस्टमेंट कहाँ होना चाहिए? अर्बन सिटीज में नहीं, अब विलेज की बारी है. स्मार्ट सिटीज के बाद अब जरूरी है स्मार्ट विलेज होने की. That now every village needs investment. Every small scale industries need investment. Every MSME sector needs investment because they have a lot of laborers. Now we have got cheap laborers comparatively. We've got a lot of hands, manpower. We can use this manpower and make a better economy in India. And more importantly, this entire economy will be from rural areas. Now the entire new thing that is coming out post-corona is the rural India will be the new normal business in India. Now, is it a necessity business now? Do you think that post-corona will be a necessity business? Yes, it is going to be a necessity business plus opportunity business. Though we know that post-corona, the only sectors which they think that their products will be readily available, saleable in the market will definitely go with that production. That means the entire entrepreneurs are now shifting to necessity. Those entrepreneurs जिन्हें लग रहा है कि उनका ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का प्रोड्यूस किया प्रोडक्ट मार्केट में अभी नहीं बिकेगा, वो अपनी फैक्ट्रीज बंद कर दें. नहीं, ये न्यू अपॉर्चुनिटी है आपके लिए कि आप अपने आप को किस तरीके से उस बिजनेस के लिए तैयार कर रहे हैं. अब एक स्क्रैप मटेरियल कंपनी के लिए अभी सबसे अच्छा इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट क्या है कि उसी स्क्रैप से वो सैनिटाइजेशन हेल्पिंग मशीन्स बना सकती है. रिसेंटली बहुत सारी कंपनीज हैं फ्रॉम ट्रिवेंड्रम एंड स्पेसिफिकली IIT Chennai. I'll tell you, the incubation center of IIT Chennai has come up with a very good project that they have made from scrap. They have made a hands-free sanitization equipment where you don't have to touch your hands, you have to pedal it. Automatically sanitizer will drop in. Your every worker of the factory can sanitize himself and get inside the factory. You have a lot of water dispensers, you have a lot of soap dispenser where you don't have to touch. It will be automatically through the pedal. So now these small enterprises have to be the opportunity business. Now they have to make opportunities of themselves. Now this is an opportunity where they can relate to and they can definitely come up with a lot of business innovative ideas. Lastly, I would definitely like to tell you that I specifically advocate and request the government, I've written a letter to the government as well, that the new time is that we should allow everyone to be entrepreneur. Let the people come out and be an entrepreneur. Do not give them any compliance procedures. Give them exemption from any registration compliances. Give them a year to survive in the market. Ask them to self-declare their tax. Once they self-declare their tax, they can survive in the market. Get them registered. Make them a compliance network. Ask them to comply with the laws, comply with the registration, and do the business. This is the one thing that I really feel that this is required. Secondly, I would also urge the organizations that is the right time that you should plan up that you opt corporate structures of your business organization. If you're starting off as an entrepreneur, I would request you either you make yourself a 1% company or you make your private companies so that you get all the exemptions available under the law for those organizations. There are a lot of exemptions. There are approximately 112 exemptions to private companies from a lot of legal compliances, a lot of beneficiary also. You will be more beneficiary and more savior because at that particular time, if you adopt a company, you're saving yourself. That is what we know company as because company gives you a separate legal personality. You'll be different and your organization will be different. You won't sustain with the losses. You can save yourself from the losses and where you can instill a better management in your company. So with this session, I have certain points to make. First, It's a genuine request to all the civil society organizations, students, learners, researchers to take this initiative. Identify MSMEs near you. Help them. Help them with your professional experience. If you have a friend or a colleague who is more expert in different area, I would like to say make a team. Make a team of finance, make a team of management, make a team of lawyers. You three people can help that MSME to survive in this post-COVID area. Secondly, I would also request the civil society organizations to help them in the same way, which I request my students and the other students to do it. Third, I also hi, sorry, due to technical glitch, there was no possibilities. I'm using it from a mobile. So can you hear me? I believe. Yes. So like I was discussing about this entire thing, I hope I could definitely help you out with this. So the thing that we were again discussing, that we have to save a lot of jobs of MSMEs that are there, and we all can actually work towards it. We can definitely work for on behalf of our civil duties, that we should try to revamp the MSME sector as possible. Identify the nearest MSME sector that is near to you, near to your villages, near to your native places. Help them and make them survive in this era where actually the organization needs support. The entrepreneurs need your support. I had a question regarding manpower. I cannot see the question here. But yes, how a larger unit will survive with this loss of. See, I'll tell you, the larger units, that's what I was telling you, that larger units have a lot of layer of managements that they do. They're always ready to hedge the risk in comparison to the micro industries or entrepreneurs which are not in a position to hedge their risk because they work more in credit rather than in cash. So they're not in a position to look for more working capital because they fall short of cash. You give them liquidity good, well enough. If you're giving them liquidity, how to use that money at this situation also needs their, they also need to learn that professionalism, that how the money can actually help them, how a financial manager should help them to sustain in that market. And that is where they can actually help to actually sail in this entire situation of economic crisis. That's what I would like to answer. Any other questions that I have? I'm unable to see the questions. Okay, so I would like to conclude this session with a few things that I want you to understand and make the entrepreneur, help your entrepreneurs nearby you, is first that they need to have a layer of competent management. First and foremost thing. Secondly, they should have a shared value system. They have to share that value system, set the protocols, set the sacrifices that you are making, and let it be an inspiration for them. Third, I would say professionalism. You should come more professionalism with your customers. You should come with more professionalism with your colleagues, vendors, so that they can help them to survive through. Now, separation of control and management is another aspect that I would like to focus, that help them to understand, see that you being the owner, not that you are the only karta of this company. You can still survive with the help of a lot of other people who can give their professional expertise to your organization. Now, I have also heard one thing very strangely that I would like to discuss at the conclusion, that certain people, when I was discussing with certain entrepreneurs, they never take the pride in wealth creation. They believe that, oh God, we have created so much wealth. No, you have to. You have to be proud of yourself that you are creating wealth, and then go for your social responsibilities that are actually working
that is what your duty towards the society goes with. Now, the other thing that I would like to tell you is ideology, intellectual arrogance, and the enterprise. I would tell you this is a very, see, arrogance and ideological intellectual arrogance is actually a recipe of disaster management, I would say. So that is also another aspect. R&D is better, has to be done. Research has to be done. R&D is always the bread butter of the organization, I would tell you. So they are the one thing that will help you. Finance and motivate them. Give them leadership by example. Tell them to set the leadership by example, and then you can definitely help them to survive with such an organization. MSME is dependent mostly on large units. Large units have their own sets of challenges posed in close proximity to red zone and return on my. How do you see this panning out first? Yes, like I answered it before also, this question was asked by, I think, Subodh Roy. So, I would again tell you that larger units have their own set of challenges, but that challenges are not bigger than the challenge the small sector enterprises. They have already hedged their risk. Their financial capitals, their reserve capitals are there to survive them for 12 months. They can easily survive for 12 months. Even when the production can, they are always ready with it. But a small sector unit, even when the red zone is there or orange zone, I would say the entire zone thing would not affect as much as the financial crunch is affecting the MSMEs. So MSME is the new business post corona, but how those big industries get work with unreasonable cost? I would say that there should be a collaborative approach. Now I know collaborative approach always is critical, but yes, the large MNCs, the larger units should come with a collaborative approach and help the MSMEs to survive in the market. Instead of going for credits, they should go for cash, give them working capital, get the work from them by maintaining a basic standard operating procedures, which can help them to survive in the market. And these big industries will definitely get workforces with reasonable costs. That is not going to be effective to them because the entire work is taken over by the small sector industries. So it's not, we don't look up to a big organization which is producing and manufacturing. See, every big organization subcontracts their job. Those subcontracts are subletted. Subletted is the small sector person, the one who is a contractor, the one who has actually done this job is one who belongs to that small sector enterprise. So when you see L&T building a bring, don't be in the impression that L&T is actually doing it. L&T has subletted it to a small sector organization, one which comes in the under MSME sector. So now we have to think about those small sectors. We have to help them so that the L&T can get workforce. So now who has to come out with it? The collaborative approach. L&T has to come in for the rescue of those small sector organizations which have actually helped them to attain their construction business. So that is how this entire small sector would definitely be taken over by a collaborative approach of entrepreneurs. So I think that is the last question that I had. So I would like to conclude this session, and I would request all the civil society organizations, I would request all the students of finance, law, fashion, technology, come forward. Save MSMEs. Save MSMEs with your little effort. You can do a little research for one identified MSME. Help them. Trace them, help them, ask them their problems, solve them with the help of all the experts that are near and dear to you. You can write directly to me at my email ID as well for such a wonderful initiative. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gauravji. Thank you, Think India, for this opportunity. Thank you so much.